A grizzly can hit 35 miles per hour. You can't. So why do so many hikers think they can run? Every summer, the same question surfaces. On trail forums, in campfire conversations, beneath hiking videos, can a human outrun a grizzly bear? It's a comforting myth, but the numbers and the bodies say otherwise. A grizzly bear hits 35 miles per hour across broken ground, through brush, uphill. Usain Bolt, the fastest human who ever lived, peaked at 28 on a perfect track wearing custom spikes after a lifetime of training his body into a sprinting machine. Your average hiker moves at maybe 3 miles per hour, maybe 6 if they break into a jog. At full panic, 12, briefly, before their cardiovascular system starts making executive decisions about staying conscious. The math tells the story, but math isn't the point. The point is that somewhere in our past, we developed this peculiar faith that running might save us, that adrenaline and desperation could bridge the gap between predator and prey, that our 2 legs, which carried us across African savannas away from lions, might work the same magic against something that weighs as much as a small car and moves like muscle powered by a landslide. Timothy Treadwell and the Grizzly Gospel. Timothy Treadwell believed in a different kind of magic. For 13 summers, he lived among Alaska's brown bears, filming them, naming them, speaking to them in baby talk, called himself their friend and protector. In October 2003, one of his bears ate him and his girlfriend. The audio recording exists but has never been released. Those who've heard it describe 6 minutes of Treadwell being consumed alive, his voice growing weaker as he begs the bear to stop. He had filmed over 100 hours of footage documenting his relationship with these animals. None of it prepared him for the moment when a hungry bear decided he looked like dinner. Treadwell's mistake wasn't that he tried to run. He thought he didn't need to. Next, the Anchorage Catalog. The Anchorage Daily News maintains a grim catalog of bear encounters. The pattern repeats with mechanical precision. Human surprises bear, bear charges, human runs, bear wins. Sometimes the bear loses interest after a few swipes. Sometimes it doesn't. Survivors describe the same moment of revelation, when their legs, those faithful appendages that had carried them through marathons and up mountains and away from awkward dinner parties, suddenly became as useful as prayer. Alex Messina was 17 when he learned this lesson. A competitive cross-country runner, training in Alaska when he stumbled across a brown bear with cubs. Messina was legitimately fast, his best mile time under 5 minutes. He ran. The bear caught him in 30 yards, dragged him into the woods like a dog with a chew toy. Messina survived by playing dead, which worked only because the bear eventually decided he wasn't a threat to her cubs. 30 yards was all she needed, less than half a football field against one of the fastest teenagers in Alaska. The numbers don't lie, they just hurt. A grizzly's stride length nearly doubles ours. Their leg turnover rate matches what we can manage. They're essentially running on 4 engines while we're stuck with 2. Their claws provide traction where we slip. Their mass gives them momentum we can never generate. More importantly, they're not overthinking it. The runner's paradox. We've turned running into neurosis, form analysis, pace calculations, breathing patterns, heart rate zones, GPS watches that judge our every step. We've taken something fundamental and made it complicated because we've forgotten it's supposed to be simple. A grizzly doesn't have a training plan, doesn't worry about proper foot strike or cadence optimization. When it decides to move, it moves. This bear has a single objective: reach food before something else does. Sometimes that food is you. The irony cuts deep. Humans are actually extraordinary runners, just not in any way that matters when something is chasing us. We're persistence hunters and endurance specialists. Our ancestors could run down antelope and elk over distances that would kill most predators. We're built for 20-mile pursuits, for wearing down prey through stubborn, methodical exhaustion. But a bear encounter isn't a marathon. It's a 100-meter sprint where second place means becoming lunch. When science meets teeth. The National Park Service publishes detailed guidelines for bear encounters, written by people who've studied these situations professionally. Make noise while hiking. Carry bear spray. If you see a bear, don't run. Back away slowly. If it charges, deploy the spray. If the spray fails, play dead, but only if it's a grizzly. Lie on your stomach, protect your neck, spread your legs to make it harder for the bear to flip you over. If it's a black bear, do not play dead. Fight back with everything you've got. Play dead. That's what our best scientific minds recommend. Not fighting, not fleeing. Pretending to be something you're not in hopes that the creature trying to kill you will get bored and wander off. It works about as often as you'd expect. In 2016, a couple hiking in Glacier National Park followed every protocol perfectly, made noise on the trail, carried fresh bear spray. When they surprised a grizzly, they didn't run. The bear charged anyway. Their spray worked. The bear retreated into the woods. 15 minutes later, as they were speed walking back to the trailhead, the same bear attacked them from behind. They played dead. The bear left, came back, left again, returned a third time. Each cycle forced them to lie motionless, while a creature capable of crushing their skulls decided whether they were worth the continued effort. They survived. The bear eventually lost interest, but for 20 minutes their lives depended on successfully impersonating a corpse, while something that could kill them effortlessly kept checking to see if they were faking it. Other couples haven't been as fortunate. The sound of Tuesday. The strangest detail in bear attack reports is always the breathing. Survivors don't describe roaring or snarling. They describe heavy panting, the sound of an animal working hard at something that should be easy. Because for a grizzly, killing a human isn't a dramatic confrontation between apex predators, it's just Tuesday. We've constructed elaborate mythologies around escape, action heroes who outrun explosions, video games where you can sprint indefinitely, stories where quick thinking and quicker feet triumph over raw power. Our entertainment is built on the premise that the clever underdog can always find a way out. Nature doesn't watch movies. It operates on calories and reproduction, and the simple fact that bigger things with better weapons usually win. Speed versus wisdom. The Inuit have 47 words for snow. They have one word for the sound a bear makes when it's deciding whether to kill you: silence. In traditional hunting cultures, the question isn't whether you can outrun a bear. The question is whether you're smart enough never to need to try. They understand something we've forgotten in our climate-controlled world, that survival isn't about having the best gear or the fastest feet. It's about respecting the thing that can kill you. Modern hikers carry GPS devices, satellite communicators, emergency beacons, all the technology money can buy, but none of it changes the fundamental equation. When a grizzly decides your food, your iPhone becomes an expensive way to let someone know where to find your body. The persistence of delusion. Every summer brings new stories. Backpackers in Glacier who thought they could outrun a charging sow. Trail runners in Alaska who figured their speed gave them an edge. Photographers in Yellowstone who got too close for the perfect shot. They all learned the same lesson our ancestors knew before we invented the illusion of safety. When something bigger and better armed decides your dinner, running just makes you tired food. The grizzly bear doesn't care about your marathon, your trail running medals, or your personal best. When it looks at you, it sees roughly 150 pounds of slow-moving protein wrapped in convenient packaging. And it's right. The real question. So can humans outrun a grizzly bear? Wrong question entirely. The right question is why we keep asking, as if the answer might somehow change. As if wanting something badly enough could alter the fundamental physics of pursuit and evasion. As if our species' brief experiment with civilization had somehow rewritten the rules that governed every other interaction in the natural world. Every year, someone decides to test these rules personally, in the remote corners where cell towers end, and the long-ago logic reasserts itself, where the food chain operates without regard for human feelings about fairness or sporting chances. They discover what every other prey animal already knows. Survival isn't about being faster than the thing hunting you. It's about not being there when that thing decides you look tasty. If you found this video interesting, consider liking it, subscribing, and ringing that bell for updates. And if you love bears, next up we have Bear Sounds.